Here properly, Yatredeam Katamishtas Trishyanta Pasamoyataha Nirvara Sarva Bhuteshu Nodviga Yatra Kaschana. He says if we hear the topics of the Shastra, hear about the topics of the spiritual world, almost immediately one is taken off the material platform. He says one's no longer situated in this material world. One's no longer envious of anybody at that time. And one is free from anxiety and fear. For the time being. But then as soon as we divert from that attention, we're situated in the material world again. So this is the power of hearing properly in the association of devotees. And if we hear properly, actually, I remember once, I think Krishna gave me a bit of mercy. One devotee, after the blue, he was given a class and he quoted the first part of a verse. And for some reason, I never forgot it. Just said it once, and I could speak it. The first part of a verse, and I've remembered it ever since. So actually, there was a realization that if I hear attentively, I'll be able to remember everything that actually is spoken. It's not possible for us in this age, but we can see how people in the past, they could hear and remember, Shrutida. And also, that attention that we pay to the Shastras can be highlighted. Can anybody remember something that's in the past which was just a surprise to them, but they'll never forget it? One particular incident. If you think back to say maybe even 30 years ago, 20 years ago, and it's still there clear, that particular point in history. What was that?
Once I was chanting Hare Krishna here. It was the example of how to chant inattentively. And when I was visiting the temple, and I found the gold necklace.
Yeah.
So and everyone knows I was walking there and I see the gun in the park. So I remember these things.
Yeah,
That's why I go.
Unusual situation. You're really focused at that time. Anybody else? Any particular thing? Mine were a long time. Yeah. I don't remember one long time ago. Actually, it was in 1962 or 63. And I was just a young lad. We were actually out on the street playing football or whatever. And then one of my friends came running out. He said, "Hey, guess what's happened?" I said, "What?" He said, "President Kennedy's just been shot dead." Now at that time there weren't so many shootings, and it was just like everybody was completely stunned. And because they were, and I just remember everything about that particular situation. Something really, which we take as being really important, really focused.
I remember a few years ago, you probably remember as well, we were all together, we were cooking together in the kitchen, and you'll have a picture and bread that wasn't quite as I was expecting it to turn out. Very mercifully accepted. You were having a lot of fun, I remember.
Yeah, so these things, so if we can develop that, urgency for hearing, because it's one of the things that devotees minimise after some time. You get the Mangal Arti comes, and if anybody is there for it, and then you get the chanting, and then you get the, everybody turns up for Guru Puja, otherwise it's, we've got to keep us fit, we've got to show up for Guru Puja, haven't we? Let's face it, you know what I mean? And then after Guru Puja, maybe a lot of the devotees are not there in Bhagavatam class. I don't know how prominent it is here, but it's quite a regular thing. So it means that the misunderstanding actually is any more there's some problems in devotional service.
Everyone's at 2%.
And then all of a sudden, the different angles of a devotional service are going waves. So then the prasadam time comes, and all of a sudden there's a wave more of goodness comes by.
Is prasadam also one of the incarnations of Krishna?
Yeah.
Like the Shastras?
Anashakta.
It attracts more than one sense, doesn't it? We hear it. We only can hear Bhagavatam. Oh, we can see Bhagavatam. We can taste
Sharan
it.
also called Anashakta.
Anashabda.
Jagannath Puri is called Anashakta.
Anashabda.
Shakta is transcendental brain.
Okay,
It's also incarnation.
so yeah, we went on to the point about this verse. What time does it finish? We've got 8:30, okay, so we better stop. Well, basically, I'm just going to explain that really purport of this last verse was about how, Damodar Leela is so attractive. And the whole point of Krishna's appearance in this world is to attract us. So Prabhupada went forward and wrote the 10th canto and all the pastimes of the Lord before he finished the rest of the Bhagavatam, because he realised that this is what we're really looking for. Higher taste of devotional service, Vishaya Vinivartante, Nehayasidin. Asovar Vartan Rasakya, Param Drishvana Vartate. That higher taste is really going to come from a taste for Krishna's pastimes and associate them with the devotees in order to facilitate those pastimes. So this is basically what I was going to speak about. And when I first time I got a real taste was in this temple actually. No, it wasn't. For a change. It's Prasadam time here used to be very opulent. We used to have all the more before we went out on Sankirtan. Still do that. We deserve it actually, staying in this, definitely in this part of the world. But yeah, I was in front, it was a Damodar Leela, and they were playing Namamishwaram Sakchit Ananda Rupam, and I got such a taste from that song, for nearly all through the month, and I just was waiting for it next year, but it weren't as strong, because obviously Krishna was saying this is what the taste for devotional service can be like. This is what these pastimes, this is what's inside these pastimes, so much bliss. We can't understand how it's happening. It's Krishna's special mercy that we feel blissful in certain situations. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. But anyway, a devotee should, whether it be blissful or not, when it's not blissful, it's a chance to focus, and we become more dependent on Krishna. By that dependence on Krishna, Krishna reciprocates with that dependence. It's not artificial, it's real. When Krishna reciprocates, he's feeling for his devotee who's actually calling out for him. So we shouldn't see that because we're not feeling blissful all the time, that it's actually a bad thing. It's actually a very auspicious thing if we treat it properly. And it's a time to really take shelter of Krishna. And then in due course of time, we'll appreciate that situation we were in, that difficult situation was actually a great help in my developing some dependence on the Lord. Okay, so we can stop there. Jai! Jai! Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai!